My name is Carrie, 60, female, and let me tell you, I love hearing these crazy stories. I need to watch how much time I'm spending on this channel because if I'm not careful, I could watch these all day. I've been on this earth for 60 years and I've worked in both the restaurant and spa industry. So believe me when I say I know a story or two to share. But I've got one of my own that's juicier than a ripe watermelon. So here's the deal. I moved from Thailand to the States when my daughter Alyssa was just 6 years old. I wanted a better life for us and things weren't looking too good in my home country, so we packed up everything and off we went. I started off working in a nail salon and pulling double shifts in this local cafe that wasn't too far from where we lived. It wasn't much at first, but it was better than what we were surviving off back in Thailand. Slowly but surely, we were making a stable home. Well, more so, banged up apartment, but hey, it was all we had and I was grateful for it. I hustled for it all and I was proud of it. But Alyssa, well, she wasn't exactly thrilled. No matter what I did, it seemed like it was never enough for her. She'd throw fits as she was getting older and older, saying I wasn't cool or that we needed more money because all her friends had the latest gadgets and fanciest clothes. Mind you, by the time she was complaining, she was 9, we were living pretty decently, if I do say so myself. We had managed to move out of the old apartment into a slightly better one. I was even saving up so that I could get her an iPad, and when I gave it to her, she yelled at me and told me that it was the old model, when she wanted the very latest one. I was working my tail off for her, but she couldn't see that. I climbed the ranks in the nail shop and became the manager, and our living situation improved. I got us a house and upgraded her phone and wardrobe, but still it wasn't enough. She kept moving the goalposts, and it felt like she never understood how hard it all was for me. I never burdened her with the details of my struggles, of course. She was my kid. She shouldn't have to worry about that stuff. But looking back, I wish I'd smacked some sense into her when she was 13 and being a brat. Maybe then she wouldn't have gone down that self-destructive path. You see, from 13 onwards, it was like a hurricane hit my sweet Alyssa. Teenage angst, puberty, you name it, everything went downhill. Sneaking out to rowdy parties, having boyfriends left and right. Even now, I look back and ask myself what went wrong and why she hated me so much. I kept telling her that what she was doing wasn't okay and tried to get her more involved in the church and after-school activities. I took her to therapy when that wasn't working, and I always made it clear I was there for her and that I loved her and wanted to be let in so that I could help her. But she kept shutting me out. The harder I tried, the further she pushed me away. I was getting fed up with her antics. But the final straw came when she turned 18. For years it was the same crap. She wouldn't respect me. I ended up being bullied by my own daughter. Our arguments reached a new level, with her sneaking off for days without a word. She'd hit me with the "I'm 18, I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want" line. I told her that her being 18 didn't mean anything to me because she needed to show some responsibility for that claim to actually stick. I would get her gigs at the nail shop, telling her to come and earn her own money so that she could show me that she could be responsible and independent, but she never showed up. We were honestly on the verge of biting each other's heads off. The tension was thick, and it seemed like we were heading for a mother-daughter showdown. One day we were having our usual arguments. She had been out for 2 days and didn't bother to tell me where she was going and what she would be doing. She was honestly out of control. "You're always on my case. Leave me alone." "Alyssa, please, I'm trying to talk to you as my daughter and as an adult." "If you think I'm an adult, why don't you treat me like one?" "I do. Well, I try to. Is it so much to want just a text about where you'll be? I'm your mother. I worry about you." "All I do is worry about you." "Well, you don't have to. You're not the boss of me." "Alyssa, I'm not going to go back and forth with you right now. I want us to fix this. We need help." Please let me book another session with Dr. Raymond. We can be better. I don't want to fix anything with you. You've ruined my life. The argument was reaching its peak when suddenly Alyssa's face turned a bit green. Panic set in as she sprinted to the bathroom, and I followed. There she was, throwing up in the toilet. I held her hair back, rubbing her back, trying to figure out what was wrong. She seemed to be fine, and her temperature wasn't hot. As I was checking, she snapped at me, telling me to get out and to leave her alone. Giving her some privacy, I went outside, and 10 minutes later she came out, holding a pregnancy test that read positive. I didn't even know that she had those on deck. It was all so surprising. Of course, I can't lie. I was shocked and disappointed, but even with that in mind, I kept my emotions in check. Holding her as she cried, I reassured her that everything would be all right. Later that night, after the initial shock had settled, we sat down to talk. I needed to know who the father was, but she confessed she had no idea. It was a heavy conversation, but it was clear we needed to face this together. Alyssa, sit down. We need to talk about this calmly. I don't need your lectures, Mom. This is my life, my mistake to fix. I know, sweetheart, and I want to support you no matter what decision you make. I'm here for you. Support? Like how you've supported me my whole life? Look around, Mom. We're barely scraping by. My life is miserable. Alyssa, I've worked hard to give you a better life. I don't know what else you want me to do. There's nothing you can do. My life is already ruined. Alyssa, I know this must be really hard, especially since you don't know the dad. You don't get it. This is all your fault. If my life weren't so miserable, maybe I wouldn't have ended up here. I never wanted you to feel this way. We can figure this out together. I'm not judging you, I promise. You always judge me. Everything I do is never good enough for you. That's not true, and you know it. I've always been proud of you. Ha! Well, are you proud of me now, Mom, huh? Are you proud of your pregnant daughter? Alyssa, please, calm down. Yelling won't solve anything. I don't want your help. I don't need it. I never wanted you in the first place. Alyssa, that's not fair. I love you, and I want to be here for you and the baby. I don't need your love or your help. I'm done with you. I never want to see you again. Where are you going? I'm going to stay with my friends. I'm done with this dump. Alyssa, please. You know you don't have to do that. I want you to stay. I'll help you. We can raise the baby together. I want you to stay. No, Mom. I'll take care of this on my own. I don't need you. Thanks for nothing. That night, as I begged Alyssa not to go, my mind replayed our entire journey. I felt an overwhelming sense of guilt, questioning if I had failed her in some way. I tried my best, but clearly it wasn't enough. The weight of responsibility for her actions bore heavily on my shoulders. Expecting her to return after a week or so when her money would run out, which is something she often did, I waited and waited by the door, but nothing. Alyssa surprised me by remaining absent for months. I would call and text asking her about her and the baby, but she'd leave me on read. Each passing day fueled my worry, and reaching out to her friend was my only lifeline to information. Her friend told me that Alyssa was still couch surfing, struggling to get a job and prep for her baby. I was glad that she was at least with her friend, but obviously I was still worried about her. Persuading her to allow me at the birth was a challenge, but thank God she gave me the time and date and location when she was ready to give birth. When I finally saw her in the hospital holding sweet baby Tori in her arms, a mix of relief and concern washed over me. She welcomed me back into her life, showing me that she was going to be a great mother. Those initial months with Tori seemed to soften Alyssa's demeanor. Our relationship showed signs of improvement, with her occasionally allowing me to babysit and even spending nights at our place. However, just as the fragile bonds of connection were strengthening, Alyssa abruptly iced me out again when Tori was about 4 months old. A text cancelling our planned day together in the park left me shocked and questioning the future of our strained relationship. I tried calling her, but she wouldn't pick up. The worry crept back in, and I feared that our progress was slipping away. I decided to give her space, hoping she would come around. Days turned into weeks, and I barely heard from Alyssa. It felt like history repeating itself. My calls and messages went unanswered. I was stuck in this limbo of uncertainty, not knowing what was happening in her life. Months went by, and I was getting more and more upset because I was completely left in the dark. On Tori's first birthday, I reluctantly made my way to her friend's place, and sure enough, there was my daughter acting like nothing was wrong. I'm not going to lie, I was pissed. She hadn't spoken to me and hadn't even invited me to the party. Who does that? Determined to address the strained relationship, I pulled her aside to have a serious conversation. She was about to start giving me the whole "I hate you" and "I hate my life" spiel, but I beat her to it. I made it clear that if she didn't want a relationship with me, that was her choice, and I had to respect that. However, I insisted on being a part of Tori's life. This unexpected assertiveness stunned her, and finally making her realize I was done with her crap. I pleaded for her to at least keep in touch for Tori's sake. Her response was unfortunately expected. Instead of a proper conversation, she started yelling, saying I needed to leave and that I would never see Tori again. Why do you insist on punishing me? I've given you what you want. The only communication we'll have will only be about Tori, I promise. I've done everything I could with you, and you're a grown woman, so make your own decisions. But I want Tori to be a part of my life, please. Just get out. Go away. You think I'm going to let you anywhere near my son? You've got another thing coming. For the first 8 years of Tori's life, I could count the times I saw him on my fingers. It tore at my heart, and every time I met him, he wasn't as fond of me. I felt so hopeless. I mean, what could I have done? But then something happened that shocked all of us, and it left us heartbroken. When Tori turned 8, he was involved in a horrible accident. Alyssa, borrowing her friend's unreliable and beat-up car to take her son to the hospital, got into a collision with some guy. Alyssa maintains to this day that it was the other guy's fault, but everyone who had witnessed the accident take place said that they saw Alyssa on her phone. Tori wasn't wearing his seatbelt, so the damage was intense. He had severe injuries to his eyes from the shattered glass, and that led to a complete loss of sight. It was a dark and scary time for all of us. Of course, I had to step up and take care of both Alyssa and Tori during their recovery. While Alyssa suffered some minor injuries to her arms and legs, she wasn't nearly as bad off as her son, Tori. During this time, I found that Alyssa's so-called friends she was living with had abandoned her, leaving her at the hands of her abusive boyfriend. Despite the challenges, she had landed a teaching job at an elementary school, and I couldn't help but feel proud of her for that accomplishment. Taking care of them was no walk in the park, especially with Alyssa being bitter about needing my help, but I had to swallow my pride and help her and her son out. After about a month, when Alyssa was feeling much better and returned to her boyfriend's place, she showed up at my door with Tori. Tori, go inside and watch some TV or something. Your grandma and I need to talk. I can't, remember? You know what I mean. God, you can be such a brat. Just get inside and put something on. When Tori went inside, Alyssa dropped a bombshell on me. She wanted to leave Tori in my care. She said she was done with him, saying that she was tired of him dragging her down. Anger surged through me, and I couldn't hold back as I shouted at her, questioning why she could be so heartless. What the hell is wrong with you, Alyssa? How could you do something so cruel? Hey, don't you dare judge me. You don't know what I've been through. I would if you just talked to me, but you don't never want to. And now you're just giving up on your son? He's a dead weight. I never signed up for having a blind kid. I have a life to live. I reminded her of her responsibilities as a parent, insisting that she couldn't just dump him on me because she was tired. Then came the accusations. Alyssa called me a hypocrite, saying I hadn't done my best with her. I denied it, of course, telling her how I had worked tirelessly every single day for us. Despite my efforts, she couldn't bring herself to believe me. In the end, she left without even saying goodbye to Tori. I had to break the news to him, and what shattered my heart was that he didn't seem hurt or angry. It was as if he had gotten used to his mother abandoning him. My relationship with Tori started off slow and rocky, understandably so. To him, I was the grandma who hadn't been there for most of his life. I had to break it to him and tell him that wasn't true, and it was Alyssa who kept us apart. As the years rolled by, Tori grew into a smart, strong, independent young man. Despite his disability, he thrived. His passion for music led him to start a business, creating headphones that soon gained a lot of popularity. His inspiring story fueled the success of his business. When he turned 18, a full 10 years after everything went down, he was ready to move out, but not before telling me about his opportunity. I was used to it at this point. This boy was all over the country doing tours and being a motivational speaker. I was so proud of my grandson, and I was so grateful because he was always helping me. Well, it's been fun while it lasted. Promise me you'll visit. Of course, Yai. You've made me who I am today. Oh, please, that was all you. No, I mean it. You've been more of a mom to me than Alyssa ever was. Which is why I'm gifting you a house. What? And a car. Tori, please, don't make this old lady pass out. I'd give you the world if you asked me to. You've helped me so much. Please accept these gifts, and also I would love for you to come see me at Brixton Elementary. You have a seminar there? You know it. Apparently there are a bunch of blind kids who are excited to hear me speak. That's amazing! Oh, you make me so proud. But wait, isn't that the same school your mother works at? Yeah, it is. I guess the perks of being blind is that I won't have to see her. I know how hard this must be for you, but think about it. This is your chance to shine. What do you mean? Think about it. She tossed you aside when you needed her the most. You've been to hell and back, and you're still thriving. Not many people can do that, my love. You should shove it in her face. I'm sure when she sees you, her jaw will be on the floor. You know what, Yai? You're right. Lord knows, I would want to see her jaw on the ground after all these years. The day of Tori's seminar finally arrived, and he insisted that I drive us to the school in the brand new car he got me. As we got out, I spotted Alyssa, looking much older than her age and shouting at some kids to get ready for the special guest speaker. When she saw us, she almost couldn't recognize us. I told Tori that his mother was here, and he tensed up. Mom? Tori? What the hell are you two doing here? Hello, Alyssa. I'd say you look well, but I can't see. Don't worry, you're not missing much. What are you two talking about, and whose Benz is that? It's mine. What? How could you afford a car like that? I couldn't. It was a gift. From who? From me. What? Would love to stay and chit-chat, but I have to set up for the talk, so I'll talk to you later, Yai. Okay, see you soon. With the help of his manager and his security, who had also come to the event, Tori was led inside to start setting up for the talk. Alyssa just stood there with her jaw on the floor trying to find the words. But the person who's coming in today, he's a millionaire. That's when I dropped a bomb. I told her to look up her son on Google and see his net worth. She was left speechless, struggling to find words. I was trying so hard not to be smug about it, but I couldn't help it. She looked like she had been through the ringer a couple of times, and she was started to get a hunchback from all the slouching she was undoubtedly doing. She started asking me how this happened, and I told her she was about to find out from his speech. As we went inside, everyone got settled down, and Tori prepared to speak to the kids. I decided that I was going to sit next to my dear daughter, eager to see her reaction to her son's success. Tori, as charming as ever, shared his background story, discussing his journey from losing his sight to discovering his passion for music and selling headphones. Even though I was abandoned by my mom and forced to live with my grandma, who's here in the crowd, everybody, please say hi. Hello, everyone. Hi. That woman right there, she's the reason I'm still here today. She's the reason for all of this. So, Carrie, my sweet grandmother, thank you so much for everything. As I was saying, I felt really hopeful for a while, but I managed to get back up on my feet. Why didn't he acknowledge me as his mother? Maybe because he doesn't view you as his mother. Now shut up, I'm trying to listen to my grandson. You did this, didn't you? You poisoned his mind. You painted me out to be the bad guy, huh? That's why he hates me. Alyssa, as with most of the decisions you've made, you've done this to yourself. Don't be mad at me because you don't know how to take accountability. He never made it a point to point out that his mother who abandoned him was sitting right there in the audience. He always said he'd never reveal who his mother was because he didn't want to give her any more attention than she deserved. Tori kept talking about how he got to where he got, and Alyssa looked like she wanted to cry, repeatedly asking me how this all happened. I told her to shut up, but she just wouldn't quit. And when Tori finished his speech, the kids went wild, expressing how cool they found him. At the end of the assembly, he was being bombarded by kids who all wanted his autograph, and he was taking pictures with people. Alyssa stood there, shocked and embarrassed, and I couldn't resist telling her that she missed out big time. She looked at me like she wanted to murder me, and I knew she felt like complete crap for all the stuff she put me and Tori through. When Tori was finishing up with the kids and was ready to go, he came to me and Alyssa and said, "Okay, I think we're all done here. Can we go, Yai? I have a flight to catch, and you need to see your new house." House? Yeah, they weren't done renovating it, but I just got word that everything is finished now. Oh, goody, I'm so excited. We need to throw a party when you get back. Break the house in, you know. Tori, I've been thinking. Whatever it is, I don't want it. What? Why are you tearing me this way? I'm your mother, damn it. Alyssa, you are not my mother. Now please let us leave. We have important things to do. This stunned her into silence, and she started coughing and crying as we got into the car and headed home. I know it sounds awful to say as her mother, but karma is a B word. I bet she felt like complete crap.